Well, another quick silver update. I know as the election's approaching, things are getting more and more sketchy. Who the hell is going to win? And in a lot of ways, I was thinking, hey, it's pretty much amazing that it's a tight race because you just don't expect that to be so close, no matter what. Because, but you start thinking they're not much different, are they? Personality-wise, maybe, but they really don't offer that much different. Everybody kind of knows it. So I always wonder why people don't take third party. But, on one hand, I'd like to see Obama get thrown out because, one term, to hell with you. That's one reason. But I think number two is I got less against him than the fact that he's going to have bloodthirsty Hillary Clinton in there cackling her ass off about when we go to war to Iran. I don't like her. I don't like her, and I was always thinking, if this lady was presented the opportunity of getting the hell out of political life and getting yourself a Harley, get yourself a hot dyke, and go around the country and have fun, I don't know if she'd do that because she's so psycho on a power trip that she probably wouldn't do that. She's just going to go to whatever it takes till somebody, actually I think a couple months ago, in Israel, when her convoy got attacked, I almost think that was like a setup on purpose to get the war going. They would the animals, they're like a pack of hyenas on the top of the political world. They'd sacrifice each other. They work together and they cut each other up, just like the corporate world. But this lady is one problem I see with Obama's administration because she's a psycho from hell, But, I got to see something else, though. In one way, if Obama won, I wouldn't mind it in some ways because I think that pisses off the extreme Christian moral right, which I think a lot of times they're not extreme moralists. They're just crazy themselves. So, but, I can't see Romney as being anybody upholding any kind of Christian values. Look how much he was tied with Bush and, the death squads down there in Central America and all this other garbage. So, none of these guys are any damn good and uphold anything. That's when you just keep it simple and you read the red words, the red words in the King James Version of the Bible. And yeah, I'm Catholic. I'm not supposed to read that version. But, that's the one that makes the most sense. Just read the red words. You know what Jesus is about. Just don't look at what Christians do because a lot of them aren't what Jesus does. That's for sure. But, it's like, I don't know. I almost think in my mind it's, whether you choose Romney or Obama, and I'm not choosing either one of them, it's not a clear-cut decision. And people will think it's so obvious that it's a clear-cut decision, whoever they chose. Those kind of people are dangerous because they're not seeing a whole big game that's going on here, and we get screwed. Anyway, I want to get on a little bit on what's silver because, I think a couple things have been brought up, and I'm a person that thinks outside the box. I think that's why I have a few listeners on here anyway. But one thing, Bernanke is probably not telling you his real policy just yet. Just yet. He's waiting for the election to happen. And I guess it is going to matter who's in office as far as what it's going to affect his policy. So, in a way, Obama could be very bullish for gold and silver in some ways. In some ways. I don't know if he's going to be so bullish. But, he doesn't control nothing. But the fact that he would keep Bernanke in office and Romney would be trying to get rid of him. Bernanke's going to be good for gold and silver. He's not going to be good for the economy. He's not going to be good for the middle class. He's only going to be good for the middle class that's loaded up on gold and silver. Not to go 100%, but, have a significant amount of it. Maybe 50% or more. That's a lot. But not 100. God, that's crazy. Even 50% or more, like I'm overly bullish on the metals, that's a hell of a lot. That's a hell of a lot. But don't ever do 100. So I think you're not going to hear what Bernanke's really thinking till after the election. Then you're going to find out on these later FOMC meetings what the real policy is going to be. So, you might, gold looks like a damn good bet. Hey, who the hell am I? But I disagree with Jim Rogers. I don't disagree with him about the agriculture, but he thinks gold might have this really severe pullback. I don't think so. There's no options out there. people are going to buy gold because the U.S. dollar is going to be looking shakier and shakier going into the future. So that's the deal. And I guess we're going to war with Iran because we're going to have Hillary Clinton around. Now, today, it looks like things are fairly steady in the markets, just some kind of a pullback in the Dow, but it's not really, nothing earth-shattering's happening just yet. And, I'm thinking, the metals can pull down a little bit more, but I don't think they're going to pull down too much more. I think that QE policy is flat out in place. And looking at the most important chart I think there is to ever watch is this silver-gold ratio. It's like what I've expected, though, is that this dive like this, when we saw QE 1 and 2 take place, this is when this dive really started taking place, where silver started getting ahead of gold and everything was moving up. What you're looking at right here, this is basically about the expectation if QE was coming out around, say, August 1st, the end of July, and we saw the silver-gold ratio dropping. Now it's increasing a little bit, but I think this is just a little bit of a pullback, and it's a blip, and you're going to see something like this kind of nosedive coming from this area, and perhaps it's going to go a hell of a lot more over the next year to below 30-to-1 ratio. So if you're figuring gold at, say, 2,500, silver's probably going to be, maybe, I'm talking not in a near term future, but within, say, like 2014, even early 2014, you're going to see silver, at least $85 an ounce. Easy. No problem at all. But that does not mean the dollars collapse into oblivion and you should hold on to silver forever. You should always sell a little bit when you get crazy gains and crazy moves. You might not be getting the exact top, but you know what? That the whole game is you're not going to hold fiat dollars forever either. You're just going to make other plans accordingly. It's kind of interesting. Yesterday I pointed out about that stock ticker HEMP. Maybe that was kind of crazy that it went up 4 times. I don't know. It could go up a freaking 20 times for all I know because it's such a low-priced stock. It's something that, this is the type of things people need to be looking at besides silver because Jim Rogers is right about agriculture. And, if I could think of one plant out there that probably is the most beneficial, medicinal, nutritional, and energy-providing plant, it's going to be hemp. So maybe people who are into silver, if they get some serious gains, it might be a smart thing to get into something like hemp, or maybe even growing this stuff itself if it becomes legal, or if you can get into the trade of this type of stuff, because it is not a drug of the hippie culture. I don't want to put it that way, and that's really where the conservatives try to knock it down all the time because they have this implant in their mind about it's being a lazy hippie drug or some kind of garbage counterculture, but it's not. It's actually a drug. It's actually a plant that's got extreme medicinal values to all of us in a lot of different ways, and so does silver because silver is a healer, is a thing that works against over 650,000 pathogens, and very highly beneficial to the body. But I want to point out in this coming election, I don't know about Obama winning now. I'm not really sure, to tell you the truth. To me, it's a total toss-up. In some ways, I almost want him to win because Bernanke would be the policymaker for the next 4 years probably, or somebody like that. And that is very bullish for gold and silver. Very much so. And also, Obama is not going to stop the energy policy in the United States. They own this guy, and I see Obama as, he's a fairly smart person. I mean, anybody who gets to that height is not stupid, despite, people hate him or what. But he's smart enough to know he's going to have to go along with the big business, big oil people, and oil is going to be drilled for in his country left and right. He's not going to stop it, that's for sure. Actually, Obama does nothing, to tell you the truth. When they're stopping oil from being drilled in this country, for instance, it is really coming from other big money elements that are saying, pushing towards sustainability. It's like, I wouldn't even get, the whole answer actually to sustainability is hemp, because we can grow the stuff and provide our own energy and clean the air at the same time. They won't do that. They're control freaks, actually, to put it in succinctly. That's really what the deal is, and you got to fight them at every step. But a lot of times when you see the one party, like the Democrats or something, are going more for green and save the earth, really what they're doing is both parties are looking for freaking greedy-ass controls, one way or the other. The Democrats, even when they push green earth stuff, it's through controls. It's through taxation, carbon taxation, cap and trade, this kind of crap. So none of them are really pushing green earth in any way. And, people got to really get a big push on it and actually put a bug in their ear every freaking second you possibly can about hemp. So now this is basically a silver update, but I want to tell you that I'm still maintaining my position about silver probably taking off quite a bit for the end of the year and into very early 2013. And I think it does make a difference as to who's the president, because if Romney's president, he's going to be doing everything he can to put a lid on Bernanke's policies. And Bernanke's policies, even though they're bad news for the average person, they're good news for all you silver investors and gold investors. They're going to bring the metals up quite a bit. So, as Mark Farber says, as long as that guy's running the show, he's holding on to his gold. That one line is worth more than all the charts in the world. Really, really. If some big impetus came out politically, and see if Romney was in office, this is what could happen. Is that, to get Bernanke out of power, to get him out even early, or to chop down anything he tries to do, if that could turn around your metals. That could turn around your metals, because you remember, despite what I hate to throw this out here sometimes, because probably a lot of people might get mad at this, but the real thing that's really backing the dollar is oil. So if we got all the oil reserves in the world, if we're pumping oil like crazy in Alaska, we got it over in the Dakotas, and say we conquer Iran, and you got the companies in there pumping oil and all this kind of crap. And, don't worry about them pissing off China, because, guess who's in Iraq? You think it's who's in Iraq? You know why the Chinese aren't pissed off? If, we invaded Iraq. You know who's in Iraq? It's mainly Chinese oil companies. Okay? So, if we invaded Iran, see, this is why I got to put this out here on the end. See, this is where these other guys don't think outside the box. And I think I'm going to continue on with this a little bit longer. But, if we invade Iran, do you think Russia's going to they're going to say all this bad stuff about this. You're going to have all this stuff about on RT, about the Western elite doing this, that, and all this kind of garbage. While the Russian elite, who are, the biggest oil producers in the world, or the second biggest, or whatever they are running all the way to the bank, because the price of oil just went way the hell up because there was an invasion on Iran, and they're getting a hell of a lot more U.S. dollars for whatever they produce in oil. So Russia would love an invasion of Iran. First, they can throw all the mud they want on the West. Number two, they can reap a lot of money for their oil. China might be bitching about it, but you know what? They're not. They know the deal. They know the same deal will be happening in Iran is Iraq. If Iran gets taken down, same deal. All the oil company, Iraq is going to be like it's moving up in oil production like crazy. But you know who's in there? China. You think, it's almost like, do you think that even Iran's going to go attack Iraq or something and try to screw up the oil fields or something because, they're being attacked by the West, so the Westerners to get deprived of oil? No, because that'll be attacking China. The big boys are all working together, but at some point in time, they're probably going to cut their throat in the future. That's really what it is. Russia, China, and the United States work together. Don't let the scam fool you. But they can't cut each other's throat, because nothing is written in stone. They can cut each other's throat. That's some common sense. One other thing, if I forget about it or what, maybe I'm forgetting about it, but there was something else I was going to bring up. Oh, about the bullion dealers. I heard this rumor about the bullion dealers are buying all kinds of bullion and are shorting paper silver. Well, do you know what that means to me? I mean, I have no doubt that a lot of smarter people are buying physical metals that are not telling anybody anything. Now, if you look in the case of some of these wealthy people, they got problems because all their jackass family that's around them, if I want to put it to you in real simple terms, in real blunt terms, they got problems from their own family. So a lot of times they like electronic accounts. They wouldn't like having something that their family can dig up, can get out of a bank somehow through some method by finding a key to a safe deposit box and taking something from them. They don't like that. That's one reason they don't like physical assets. A lot of these very wealthy people are surrounded by a bunch of jackasses just waiting for them to die. So, they don't have it so great. I can tell you that right now. In that respect, they don't like the physical metals. But in other respects, they do. I think a lot of people are buying physical metals. But I'm going to tell you this. When there's all these rumors coming out about, and I know it's been printed out in these silver places that print stories, about our sources said that the bullion dealers are buying physical silver bullion and they're shorting paper silver. That's freaking bullshit. I mean, when they supposed to, on the surface, I'm going to say it's bullshit. I don't know it. I can't prove it. I'm going by my instinct, and everybody's going to start thinking, my instinct's this, my instinct's that. I shouldn't even say. But the reason I see it's bullshit, because it's another one of these things. I think silver's going to be going up here pretty hard. And these are the kind of clowns, I'm going to call them that, they're going to be keeping everybody hot and heavy on buying when it's over 50. Yeah. Now, some people probably have a set plan. Once it gets to 50, they're never going to buy another ounce. That would be a smart plan. That would be a smart plan. But, the only way you can actually have a market go up is you got to have buyers. So, and you know who the buyers are going to be. You think it's going to be Jim Rogers? You think it's going to be Mark Faber? And, do you think anybody like Lloyd Blankfein or Jamie Dimon or anybody from any of the best traders are out there going to be buying silver when it starts exploding over 50? No. It's going to be the middle class. It's going to be the middle class. Thus, you have all these silver bloggers out there telling you the sky's going to fall. That's one point I'm bringing out. So, hey, I don't know if I should bring that point out because it's good for me if a lot of other suckers buy silver high and I sell it to them high. But, I guess I'm too much on the side of the middle class. I have such a soft heart, Anyway, just want to leave this thought, let's if there is a God, let's pray that Hillary Clinton finds the light, gets herself a Harley, gets out of politics, finds herself a hot dyke, and just rides around the country having a good time, and leaves us the hell alone and gets the hell out of D.C. Because, to tell you the truth, I have less problem with Obama being president if Hillary Clinton wasn't there. She's like the dragon lady, And I really don't wish her any ill will. So, just could be her on a bike with her hot bitch on the back and having a good time. So, I just wish you'd get the hell out of Washington.